Hello everybody! Happy Canada Day! Hey, there's a Viper parking right there. Okay, so I've been driving around this Ford Fusion for a few days now, and when I first got in it I noticed it had USB ports here in the center console and also a composite video and audio input for the screen. And that gave me an idea. Something you can do really easily. So it's pretty cool. It's right up my alley, and I'm gonna show you that right now. So let's get to it. I'm going to be hooking up a Raspberry Pi, and we're going to go do some war driving, which, if you don't know what that is, it is where you drive around with a GPS enabled thing looking for Wi-Fi networks and mapping them out. So we're going to drive around and then we'll have like a nice big map of Wi-Fi networks. We only need a couple of things for this today. Got the Raspberry Pi. It's a little Linux computer. It's a good description. Runs off USB. You need these composite cables because that's what this car has. So it's a 3.5mm jack to the LR and video. This is a Wi-Fi adapter. Obviously you need that. And this right here is just a little GPS that I've rigged up to a serial to USB. That's all we're using for today. So if you notice in here, we've got everything set up. Got the USB ports, they'll power the Raspberry Pi, and you've got the composite in for this screen. So simple. Screen for the Raspberry Pi. Also, you should note these cables, a whole bunch of them are different. They have like these pinouts incorrectly. I think it's supposed to be the audio are the first two, then ground, and then video. This one's actually wrong. So the ground's in the right spot, that's the most important thing, and then white actually is video when yellow is supposed to be video. So let's hook that up. Got power. We don't have video. Ah. It's red. I was wrong. It's red, not white. And we have GPS. Okay, for anyone else planning on putting a Raspberry Pi in their Ford sync system, I don't know, whatever ones have it. I think the screen is 800 by 400, or 480, sorry. So when the Raspberry Pi first boots up, it's got these overscan things. If you set them all to 0, it's pretty close. Don't go negative with the overscan top and bottom. The screen on my Raspberry Pi stopped booting up when I did that. So I have all zeros here, 800, 400. It's hard to read because it's not perfect, but I'm not going to play around with it any longer because I want to get this done. But anyways, don't set those values negative. You're supposed to be able to, but for whatever reason, it doesn't like it on composite, and even my HDMI, the screen wouldn't start up, so I had to take it back inside, SSH into it, change the config. I thought I had actually just messed the system up, but I hadn't. So I had to change the config from an SSH, and now we're set, so let's get going. So the GPS is blinking, that means it's working. I got the Wi-Fi hooked up. I'm running a program called Kismet. I haven't started it yet. Let's start that. Oh. There we go. And Kismet will just take the information from the Wi-Fi and the GPS and put it in nicely ordered in a file. So I didn't write that program. KISMET. Okay, let's do some more driving. So after all that, I was having trouble with the GPS again, couldn't change settings. Finally figured it out. Got everything working, it's recording now, but one thing I didn't test. You don't get video when you're not in park. Oh well. Okay, let me explain a little bit what's going on here. So, on this computer, the Raspberry Pi, Kismet generated an XML file which has the information like the longitude and the latitude and the name of the Wi-Fi and the type of encryption and everything like that. Then I ran a Python script, which I didn't make. It's called like XML to KML or something like that. Now KML is a file for Google Earth, and that allows you to import these destinations and these locations with names into Google Earth. So the XML to KML script took that XML file, turned it into a KML file with usable data for Google Earth, and then you get something like this. There you go. This is where I drove, and these are all the Wi-Fi hotspots I picked up, and you can sort them by the type of encryption they have and if they're open or things like that, and their name. And this was just a short distance, I didn't really have it set up properly. So you can see it's really easy to see stuff like this. So, little lesson, you need to have WPA type encryption on your router. WEP is no good. You can crack that in like 30 seconds. Seriously. And if you have WPS enabled, again, half a second. So, there's a little lesson. WPA. Do that. So I hope you enjoyed that little war driving thing. Now we're on to the fireworks in Hamilton because it's Canada Day, which should be awesome. I really like fireworks. Let's go. Okay, here's Jetpack.
Caitlin!
I thought you were gonna do something crazy.
Oh.
You know, Carrie.
We're in a car!
So, I love fireworks. They're pretty cool. It's a pretty good show. Good night and overall good day. So the war driving, that's fun and all. I really enjoy it. It's just like interesting to see all these people broadcasting all this information. Something I find really cool. But now one thing I skipped over, I didn't actually skip over it. The most important reason to install a Raspberry Pi in your car. Well, I'll get to that and I will show you now. So be good, good night, and enjoy.